Good morning, everyone. Or good evening, actually. It might be evening. It feels like evening. Oh my goodness. Today is February 12th, 2025. So, we're just gonna look at the forecast, the horoscope forecast for this month. Um, for this full moon. The full moon is a full moon in Leo, which is an exciting time for Leos, of course, and all fixed signs. But there's a T square during this full moon, and so I'm doing this for Risen in Essentials, esoteric school of metaphysics, and I hope that you can hear me okay and everything's working good. Um, but yeah, I'm just sorry about this. Hold on just a second. I'm a little lost. There we go. This makes this easier. So I'm just setting this up so I can share with everybody. I know it's a little slow starting for now. Please bear with me because this is my very first solo post. Forecast live now. Okay, so that should be everything. Okay. And yeah, so this is the new moon, or not the new moon, the full moon. It's going to be an exciting full moon. You can see there's a lot going on over here in the center. You can see that it's a big old T square. Ah, what did I do? I broke it. Okay. Okay, sorry. I didn't mean to do that. So you can see right here on the right hand side that there's the moon symbol. I'm circling it now with my pointer. The moon is exactly at 24 degrees and 6 minutes this morning. It was 6:53 this morning when the full moon occurred. So we've actually just passed it a few hours ago. There's still a lot of full moon energy because of this strong T square. And I know it seems a little confusing to like, what is this? What's going on? This is just a horoscope for what's going to happen for you this 2 weeks. Things happen on a full moon. The new moon is when you take action. Full moon is when action is thrust upon you, and so you're really forced to take hold of the situation that is presented rather than take the opportunities that are presented. It's more of reaction to than it's more of a reaction rather than a preparation. So it's a beautiful full moon. The sun is in Aquarius, the water bearer, and people get confused because the water bearer is not a water sign, it's an air sign. The water bearer contains water, it keeps water back. And so you want to think of the power of the air energy of Aquarius. It's strong enough to blow water back. And so that's what this what this month is about. The strength of intellect. That's what Aquarians are all about. And it's been a long retrograde for the Mars and Cancer people. If you've been receiving contacts of that on your chart, that's probably been pretty difficult for you. Um, and so yeah. So if you were born with Aquarius on the first house, then this full moon is happening in your seventh house. So it had to be a late Aquarius though. So if you know the degrees and positions of your house, which is really important to know, and you can find all of that out when you take my class. If you take my class, when you take my class, um, this coming March, beginning March 8th from 3 to 5 p.m., I will be doing a beginner's astrology course at Resonance Essentials Esoteric School of Metaphysics. The cost is $280 for the whole course, or it is $50 a class, and it's a 7-week course. Um, and you will learn everything you need to know to understand your own chart. You might be able to learn a little bit about understanding other people's charts as well. So there's that. That's, this is that class will definitely help you understand what I'm discussing here today in better detail. So if you were born with the new moon falling in your seventh house, this is bringing in situations from partners or business partners, romantic partners, one-on-one relationships that are having a really difficult time for you right now. Um, and the reason it's difficult is because of this huge T square. It's like a sudden occurrence that you're having to force yourself to do, and you're really having to put yourself out there and take that step and do it alone and face it alone. It's something that you can do. It's almost like you're being let down, but it's not so much being let down as an opportunity to shine, because Leo is all about shining and blossoming and being in the limelight. So this is a great time for you to take the opportunity to shine. Um, and so, like, when it comes to a business partnership, your role in the partnership is going to take um, a much more powerful, um, much more intense role. Um, there's also, let's see here. Oh my goodness. Um, there's also, if this happens in your seventh house, it's because of communication breakdowns. It's, Uranus in your third has caused some difficulty in your life right now. And it's been going through there for about 7 years. So he should be leaving, your Taurus house soon. He actually will be leaving later this year and entering the domain of Gemini. And you can see the Albuquerque Astrology Group. We're going to probably be discussing that later this year. We meet once a month, on the third Saturday of every month from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock at Resident Essentials at 2700 Broadbent, Suite J. And I forgot the location. That is not the correct location. Okay. Um, excuse me. I'm a little sick. I'm a little sicko. Um, I'm a little sicky. Sorry. It's, I'm glad it happened now, that before I started teaching the class. So, that's that's for people who have the full moon occurring in their seventh house because the full moon is, the sun is on one side and the moon is on the other side. So it's literally the moon reflecting all of the sun's rays, and filtering them through her own energy. And so that's why it looks such a that's why it's so beautiful. Those sun's rays are just, um, the reflection um, that moonlight presents. Like sun's rays are moonlight is just the sun's rays that that it's reflecting on us, and so that reflection is incredibly beautiful, incredibly powerful. So, when you notice this is happening between your first and your seventh houses. So if you were born with 24 Leo and 24 Aquarius between your 8th and 3rd houses, or 8th and 2nd houses, with the moon in the 8th house, you're going to be noticing some occult situations. I don't want to say so much occult situations, but more like it's not a situation, it's just occurrences that will be popping up in your life for a little while. Um, there's also, new and expanding debts, um, and the possibility of rechecking your finances. You always want to keep up on that. Um, the the real hard part is that Uranus is going through your fifth, and so you've been taking a lot of chances, willingly or unwillingly, for this time, and that has been really, really hard. For you, it's Uranus going through the fifth. It's like it's been a time for you to gamble a lot, but it hasn't really been productive in the way you want it to be. So, and I had to break out my cheat sheet. After all, I didn't think I would need it, but I do need it. Um, Forgive me for coughing. Um, so yeah, this things that are coming at you is what the new moon is all about. It's the new moon. The not the new moon. The full moon is all about. The new moon is what you can take on yourself. The full moon is what is brought to you that you need to deal with. And so, in addition to this, you're dealing with Mars going through your seventh house, and so you've been having some health problems or daily routine problems. And I'm still talking to the people who are having Leo 24 degrees in their eighth house. And so you should have, Mars in your sixth house, and that's probably been quite a difficult period for you. It's just you've been bumping your toes a lot, and it has not been fun. Mars retrograde will end come April, so just hang in there. Um, so if this happens in your third and ninth houses, so if you have 24 Leo in your ninth house, this is something that you're going through with um, local and long-term trips. And so you have to consider your long-term trip planning and your ideals and your values. One of the things is when you're planning a trip is who gets to control the radio. And this is one of those arguments that's going to happen during a full moon, because some people do not want to listen to news radio 24/7 or talk radio 24/7 and listen to all the political mumbo jumbo. And so this month it's really popping off for you. Um, it's like short trips and locally keeping it exciting. Jupiter in your sixth house has been absolutely glorious. Um, you've been going through a little bit of a depression recently, but that's okay because that'll pass. Everything has its season. Everything has its turn. and this season will pass as well. But you know, um, sorry, my dog's right here, and he's just needing pets right now, so that's why I'm like reaching down and petting. Um, so yeah, Jupiter in the sticks is you're just bopping through life. You're like a bouncy ball. You put a bouncy ball in the soles of your shoes. You're just happy to be here, and that's really great. And so this new moon, that's just gonna bring you more of this energy, more of this happy-go-lucky energy. Even though it can be a little bit sudden, you have to take these sudden trips. Um, for those of you like me, what happened? I didn't do it. I didn't mean to do it. There we go. Yeah. So for those of you who are like me, who has Leo in the 10th house and Aquarius in the 5th house, Leo 24 in your 10th house, it's a time to show off your political acumen. Not political, public acumen. I got stuck on that talk radio thing. Um, yeah, your your public persona is really going out there now. Toot toot toot, toot your horn, girl. Let's go. Um, it's gonna be you in a different way, and it's a sudden surprise or unexpected turn of events where you might have to take on a more public role than you're wanting to normally, and I am doing this alone solo today. It's just me, your host, Monica Gurule. Um, Michelle Vidal couldn't make it. She's got meetings all day until late, late, late. So I'm doing this on my own, which I absolutely love to do for you guys. Um, just doing your full moon forecast for the center, and I'm pretty excited to be here. Excuse me. Sorry. So yeah. So if you have Leo on the in the 10th house, this being your time to shine is the way to do it. And so for me, this Uranus is falling into my 6th house, or actually it's in my 7th house now because it's later. And and so I am having some health problems, which of course, as you can tell, I sound terrible. I hope I don't look as bad as I sound. That's all I can say. So if you have Leo in your 11th house, this full moon is going to be about shining with your friends. Really putting yourself out there, making new friends. It could be that a new friend wants to meet you and is putting you on the spot to be met. And that's so much fun. And taking that opportunity to have that kind of fun is really important, especially since you've had Saturn between the 5th and the 6th house going on for so long. You really need that time to shine. This is your time to do it. So within the next 2 weeks, you're gonna have a time to like really cut loose with your friends and enjoy a time and space as only friends can do together. Um, yeah. So let's see here. If you have Leo in the 12th house, um, that's your Virgo rising, obviously. Or maybe not obviously. It would be obvious for you if you had taken my class. So take my class come March 8th. Um, so Moon in the 12th house, it's illuminating, hidden enemies, but also your security blankets and your crutches that you're using. You're used to doing things a certain way, and you're suddenly forced to examine that, and it's being put upon you to examine that um your comfort modes, your comfort habits that are not necessarily good for you. So some people have like a codependency issue. You have a turning up and do it on my own issue, especially with the Virgo rising. And so this full moon is going to give you a chance to do that, and it's going to be a little stressful. That's okay. You'll get through this. You'll get through the next 2 weeks just fine. It'll be fantastic. You watch. Especially with that Jupiter going through your 10th house. Because, it's going to bring a lot of boom and oomph to your political, not political, why am I so on that? Public career and public facing persona. And I'm pressing wrong buttons. Okay, and you see my cheat sheets here. So, so if you are a Leo rising, this full moon is happening in your first house, and it seems like your partners are putting it all on you. And it could be that you suddenly have to taking on more than your fair share. And it's okay to do that. It's okay that you're having to do that, but it's also something that you have to consider um, your rebellion phase, your rebellion um, facet of yourself, whether or not you want to push back and fight against this. So it's okay to be to struggle with people, to your immediate partner, your business partnerships. If you're Leo rising, you can with 24 Leo in your first house, it's okay to challenge other people and what they want of you. And sometimes you don't do that as powerfully or advocate as well for yourself as you should. And this month is gonna actually produce an opportunity. This full moon is gonna produce an opportunity for you to do that. Um, so if you are Cancer rising, or if you have 24 Leo in the second house, you've noticed a lot of your debts have been alleviating. That Mars going through your 10th has been kind of rough. Going through your 10th and 11th, he's gonna leave in April. I keep promising everybody that. I'm not just making it up. He is gonna turn direct soon. Um, and we won't have to worry about this digging energy that Mars is bringing into our lives. And so, um, if you have the full moon happening in your second house, you're reevaluating your values or um, your personal views on yourself, your self esteem, and so don't let other people the what you take away from other people's input on yourself to impact your self esteem negatively, because that would not be good for you. Um, this is the time to really stand up for yourself and stand up for the values of who you are, and also recognize just how special you are. Don't let anybody bring you down this full moon. Because it always happens. There's always somebody who has to say something weird, and then you overthink it, and that's one of the things that you have to not do. So if this full moon happens in your third house, it's more of that um, trips and um, journeys type thing, but you're going to be dealing a lot more with that Jupiter in your 12th and 11th, you've been just doing really good, and that Mars in your first has been kind of rough. Mars in your first and your second has been kind of rough. So, like this, you might not notice the effects of this moon um, as much as you notice the effects of the Mercury retrograde. Not because this moon isn't powerful and it causes, it's causing a lot of shakeups with that T squared to Uranus. And I think I did point it out. If I should do it again, let me see here. This is the moon, and this is the sun, and the T squared to Uranus is right down here. So, yeah. Yeah. So it's different in your chart if you have 24 Leo in your third house. And so that's where the full moon is happening for you. And so it's a chance to um, deal with bureaucracy and also higher learning and institutions of higher learning and also religious institutions. It might not be a big deal, but for you, like, it's not going to be as noticeable as that Mars going through your first, where it's just every little thing is hitting you head on. And so, it's okay, you'll get through this full moon. It's not necessarily a bad thing, especially with Jupiter going through your 12th house. It's like you have guardian angels following you everywhere because you have like extra duty angels. And so you're just doing really well this full moon. Um, just having to deal with surprises with um, that require short trips or emails or phone calls to um, to bureaucratic institutions, which are big conglomerate type things like corporate um, emails and things like that. You have to call a corporate office for some place. You have to deal with a church bureaucracy, or you have to deal with like a university or something, and even like government institution and the whole um, enmeshment of of things. Um, so if this is happening in your fourth house, you've noticed that you gained weight this year, or you're going to be gaining weight pretty soon here. Um, Full moon is 24 Leo in your fourth house. It's bringing some stuff home that you've had to deal with. You've been noticing some personal issues going on that that you might have to deal with. Um, it's all coming to a head and bringing it home to you. And it's important for you not to take it too personally because it will always find a way to spill out into other areas of your life. So, containment of the excitement is a priority for you this full moon because it's you've been experiencing it so much this past that Uranus over your ascendant area first in your 12th and first house has been pretty dramatic, and so learning to deal with it is it's been a little bit rough on you. And so, um, go easy on yourself, be kind to yourself, and the surprising things, don't let them overwhelm you and take you by, well, take you by surprise. But they're gonna take you by surprise. But don't let it put you on your back foot. You can roll with the punches. So, if 24 Leo is in your fifth house, this is a fun time to go out with friends, just like it was for Libra rising. But it's also a great time to start to work on a hobby or expand on a hobby. And you're going to notice something happening with that, like a stroke of inspiration, a stroke of brilliance coming through you. This full moon, um, it will be so exciting and beautiful and wonderful. Leo is naturally at home in the fifth house, so coming home to the fifth house really feels great for him. So the moon going there, she really likes it. She really likes being in the fifth house with Leo and and all his partying ways, all his fiesta. Let's go. Um, excuse me. I'm so sorry. Um, I'm so sorry. Um, yeah. Okay. Forgive me. Okay. So yeah. Um, I can't make myself laugh, which is funny because I'm hilarious, or at least I think I am. I make myself laugh. Um. So yeah. Let's see here. Where were we? Oh yeah, Leo in the fifth house. Full moon. Leo in the fifth house. New exciting stuff. Fun. You're gonna be having a stroke of brilliance in a creative way, and that's what you can really expect from this full moon. Um, it's gonna be pretty fantastic. If 24 Leo's in your sixth house, um, you're getting put on the way you've noticed before. Um, you've noticed issues going on for a little while because there's a lot going on into your 12th house. If you have 18 Pisces nearby, um, in your 12th house, that's where it's hitting, or it's in your first house. So at this degree, it's actually, you're not going to feel the full moon's effects as much as you're going to feel the trine between that Saturn and Mars. So Mars is doing his retrograde thing in detriment, and Saturn is doing its Saturn thing in Pisces. And together they're like two halves of a whole idiot. Um and that's what you're dealing with this full moon in these few days. And it's it's pretty hard, especially with Saturn, if you want one word to describe Saturn, it's no. So if you say, oh, I have Saturn here, I have Saturn in the house of siblings, what does that mean? You have no siblings. that sort of that sort of response, that sort of reaction. Or you have difficult relationships with your siblings. In this case, you've been having Saturn between your 12th and first house, and that pain has been real. You probably lost a little weight, you look a little gaunt. Um um you have been, just not feeling your best self. And that's gonna pass. Like right now, it seems like everything's working against you. It's not. It's just sometimes that's just how things roll. it's it's sort of like a snowball effect. It's not meaning to get bigger and bigger, it just does. And so for this full moon, the full moon itself is not going to be as dramatic for you as like the whole week itself. With this trine between Mars and Saturn. In the water signs, Saturn and Mars are not happy in either of these signs. And when they're making the trine together, they're not happy together. To be honest, they're just not happy doing this. It's hard to explain it if you're not going through it. But people who are going through it know they're going through it, because you're like, there's it's it's like you're in a constant battle with a wet blanket. Like, not everything is just dampened, and this is going to change. Saturn is going to be leaving Pisces later this year, and Mars will be leaving Cancer later this year, and so this will change soon enough, and you will get through it, and you will thrive and survive after this. So don't let it get you down too much. And that's everybody. That's everybody for the full moon forecast. And I guess some of them weren't really the full moon forecast. It was more just telling people going through Saturn transits to not let Saturn get them down. Saturn it's a great teacher, but it's a hard taskmaster. And so it's one of the things that Saturn is good at is letting you reap the rewards of your hard work. Saturn is both the hard work and the rewards thereof. And so him hanging around over here in Pisces, making this trine to Mars in Cancer, is just going to be... It's easy for them to get along, but they're getting along doing, the bad thing. It's like the two talkative kids in class. They're both talkative on their own, but you put them together and they're just a riot. And so, in much of the same way, these, Mars in Cancer and Saturn in Pisces, they get along in much that same way, where, like, one is kind of emotional and depressing and dampening on its own. The other is also sort of dampening and depressing and sensitive on its own. Put them together and they're working together, and what do you have? They're working together. It's just a riot of struggle. But you know what? One of the beautiful things about astrology is that we're prepared and we know what's coming, and we know that it'll pass. This too shall pass. And it's going to be a beautiful full moon. Obviously, it has been for me, because I get to do this with the group, and hopefully I could do this again soon. Hopefully I won't be sick and coughing my butt off, and hopefully I'll have company next time, so I can have somebody to yap with, so I don't just sit here standing laughing at my own jokes, because that's not always as fun for everybody watching, and you just watch me giggling by myself on stream. And I want to thank you for